Hello and welcome to August 21st Helm developer meeting. Excuse me, sorry. Um, this is a CNCF project, so CNCF rules apply, which boils down to basically be nice to each other. Um, and with that, we have no announcements, unless anybody has some last minute ones.
Oh, I do. I forgot. We did release on Monday. We did release a Helm release. It fixed a regression from the last one. Um, Another regression's been found, but it did fix a regression that was in the last release. That's all it did.
Cool. All right. So then discussion. Oh, Karen, you brought up the that not a podcast last week. Matt wasn't here. Did you guys have a chance to talk about it yet?
Yeah, I sent them, I reached out during or on Slack, and Scott has responded. So yeah.
Cool.
And happy to, as always, either collaborate with anyone or whatever works for folks on our team.
Matt F, another JSON schema regression.
Yep. I linked to it and we need to figure out what we're going to do. So with JSON schema, we had previously used a package that hadn't seen an update in something like 5 years. Everybody had moved off of it. And when we moved to the new package, it turns out that there are some schema issues, especially when you use the Go SDK, where things don't exactly work right. And we're seeing some more regressions to that. Now, for something like Helm, if it's just the Go SDK for Helm 4, that's not a big deal. But for those Helm 3 users, it turns out it is a big deal. And it seems as I look now, it looks like we're seeing this in some other places as well. And so we have to figure out how do we want to go about handling this. It seems like it's affecting Istio, it's affecting some others here. So what we can do, and what I put in as my suggestions anyway, was one, we could leave this regression in place and just let people have to go update their stuff. It's annoying for everybody, but that's always just an option on the table, right? It was done to fix the security because the old package had security issues. We could fork the package and attempt to bring it in line with the previous API where it's missing certain features. For example, in this case, when you're dealing with, what is it? When you're dealing with certain types of slices, and where it should find an array, it's not always finding it. So that's part of the issue. So it doesn't properly register type of. In fact, for the case here, you could probably just modify one line in a case statement and add a couple of other things, and I think it'll detect everything properly. That's a small one. We can offer that upstream and maintain a fork of our own until they do that and just leave it on just Helm 3, because in Helm 4, if the Go SDK changes, that's okay, right? We could do something like that and even offer it upstream to see if it gets picked up there. Or I think what was my third option was we could revert the library change and go back to the old library for just Helm 3 and then try to work around its security shortcomings on our own separate from it. Those are kind of the three options we have, but it's one of those things that we do see regressions and people are bugging us about. And, if they go back to the older version without the regression, there's security issues. So this is something that we need to look at. So I'm looking for feedback here on what folks think and if anybody wants to go work on it.
This is unfortunate timing because we're at the last 9 days of trying to get stuff merged for Helm 4 as well.
Yep.
In terms of the time to work on things. How severe are the security issues in the library? Like there's CVEs and there's
I believe.
So for people who pick up the Helm SDKs, you can denial of service their application.
Yeah.
And this would require a malicious chart. So
It should require a malicious chart, but a malicious chart could denial of service their application.
That's not good.
um
And in terms of the regressions, we are talking about JSON schema, probably the most underused feature in Helm. But
But it
what
turns out we're discovering people are using it.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
that's nice.
discovering uses here.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
It's the
that-
users of it who are having problems.
but
Yeah. Yeah, that was the surprising part because I was like, oh, I thought I had the same assumption, Scott, where it's not used that much, and then all of a sudden, like, oh no, there's a lot of people talking about it. This is surprising to a lot of us.
I mean, that's great. We've been recommending it. But, yeah.
I mean, if the fork and fix isn't that big of a problem, that big of a patch, then I think that makes sense. I mean, obviously we don't want to rewrite it, but if it's like you said, a case statement that we can upstream, that seems reasonable.
I would say people are going to have to adjust their charts anyway for Helm 4.
No, they
Because-
shouldn't have to adjust their Helm 3 charts. And this isn't Helm 3 charts. This is Go SDK.
Maybe a misunderstanding. So what I'm thinking is that eventually people are going to have to adjust their usage for Helm 4. It's just
Right, not immediately, but eventually.
Right.
Yeah. After about
Well, I want to point out this isn't in the charts. This is in the Go SDK for the Helm
Okay.
API.
Gotcha.
Um,
Maybe we should put a spike in this for the moment and take a look at what kind of lift it would be to vendor this. Because I don't really even know what to offer at this point. If it's something that is a giant time suck, then we might have to make some other trade-offs. If it's not, it might just be an easy answer.
Yeah, and my suggestion on this is only do it for Helm 3 because it's the Go SDK API that's the issue. And if they're going to update it for Helm 4, at least I think that's the only issue right now. If it's actually with the JSON schema files, then it becomes a longer thing, but I think it's just the Go API.
Okay.
And if we're only vendoring it for about a year, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Helm 3 does have an end of life, so it shouldn't be a long maintenance schedule. Scott, H4 plugins. Still looking at those, by the way. I didn't look yesterday, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. It's great. This is good stuff. It's a really short note. I know I've mentioned this in the maintainers channel. I haven't been harassing too much, but just sort of reaching out to folks who said they were, specifically said they were interested in. Here is the tracking issue for the PRs. The ones that are required for the HIP are at the top. Or actually, I don't know if sharing my screen is helpful. Why not? Let's do it. Okay, so anyway, there's a tracking issue. And there is one branch where the work has been by and largely complete, with the exception of some of the WASM stuff, which could actually come after freeze if need be. We'd love it to be before freeze so we could announce and be like, hey, you can start working with it now, but it's not strictly required because it really just the infra around it is needed, but we're trying. But in any case, that's where the total work is, but that's a lot to review. So we have broken this up into sensible PRs, some of which are sequential. So the very first one was what we had discussed with you, Farina, as well, about moving things to internal, just the simple beginning of that. Then the others are relatively explained. We'd be happy to briefly explain it, but Hopefully they're self-explanatory, and each of them say what they're part of and what it specifically what it does, which if it depends on one or more of the others. And they're all in draft until the dependencies are merged already in main. But they're generally not moving around a lot. It's really only minor responses, hopefully anyway, to feedback. So far it's been relatively minor because we've had folks look at this. So
On my list to look at, the regressions have just taken priority, so I apologize, but once we get out of the regression world, it's my top priority for Helm.
I've started to finally go through it today, so we'll be going through the list today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday for me for Red Hat, so it gives me the opportunity to go ahead and look at it.
woo woo. I should point out too that there's unit tests for everything. A few folks are looking primarily at the unit tests to see if they can improve. Namely, I mean, at least for the conversation, namely Joe and Jesse. And there are a few other people who initially asked or said they wanted to look. I'm not banking on it, but they might still. And there are manual tests with example things with like basic steps. So it should be a relatively low lift to go through when you do. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna move us forward. Robert, you have a 60-second video.
Yeah, there's a 60. Karen sent me an email to remind me there's a 60-second project update video that I'm putting together. I don't mind shooting it. I don't mind doing the post-production because I have all the tools here. Does anyone want to be involved in the content for status update video?
Sure. Always
Okay.
happy. When is it due again?
September something. But it's 60 seconds and it's we got to come up with it. But I'll get with you, Scott, and your East Coast time, so I can get with you sometime in the afternoon. We can put it to a brainwashing of what we want to say.
I think it's September 15th, but don't quote me.
No, that's it's an afternoon of recording and shooting, so it's something we can put together. So Scott, do I have your replicated email so I can put some time on your calendar?
Sounds fun. You should, but I'll send it to you. Just so you have it. And my personal email too is like I have literally never hidden it. It's on every single commit.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. I just want to make sure it doesn't get lost. I don't check some emails all the time, but
Thank you. Yeah,
I,
I'll send it to you too.
I thank you for your help. I appreciate it. So
Oh,
I'm
of course.
good.
And I'll send you I think you have my phone number too, but I'll just send it just in case.
Okay.
I'd like to at least tag along if not.
Yeah, no, we'll do that.
Cool.
Joe, do you want me to toss a friendly East Coast time afternoon meeting on your calendar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, charge cache.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to do was change our charts cache. We've gotten a lot of things about it. So I've got an initial pull request up and a massive rework of it to make sure it works with tests and everything, because the basic idea was thrown up. So that is coming in hot. If somebody could review it in the next week, probably won't be ready till sometime tomorrow to actually review, but it gives us a content-based cache in the most minimally invasive way possible. So hopefully we can expand on it later. But I tried to just do the things that will break the APIs and just be as minimal as possible. So you can start to have a content-based cache in the system. And I'm sure we can add on it later, but I tried to do the minimum possible. Right now, as soon as I started adding real world tests in, because I wrote it and threw it up there and then didn't do tests. As soon as you do tests, you start saying, I've got to go change all these other things around Helm just to make sure that the integration is clean everywhere, because it works cleanly at a package level, but then it needed updates at the CLI level to make sure everything worked. So there's incoming changes, but that's the idea is, how do we go do a content-based cache? Because right now, if I download MariaDB version, 1.2.3 from Bitnami and from another place, you don't know from that if it's actually the same content. And so you have no idea whether you can reuse it. So you always download it. And we've had so many things in the issue queue about it. So I've got that coming because Robert here was looking on the charts interface stuff for the V3 charts. So I was giving him space to run with that, and I had a few minutes. So working on that.
Curiosity, or maybe I should look at the changes. My
Wait till
understanding
tomorrow.
is, yeah, I can wait till tomorrow. But the question was, how do you solve the problem where chart repos don't come with a content hash? So you got to download the content to determine the hash. That was my understanding of the blocker for chart repos, but I could be wrong.
So chart repositories should have the hash on there. It is automatically generated by Helm when you create an index.yaml file. There's a digest file there. Did you know that?
I didn't.
There's a digest in there. If you go look at the index.yaml file, there's actually a digest there.
Okay.
And so
nice.
to be as minimal as possible, we're starting with that digest as your key, because it's a SHA-256 digest. That's the easy one. I did not layer in OCI in this because I'm just starting as minimal as possible. I figure OCI uses SHA-256 as well. So eventually this will be an easy path for us to bring it in there, but I did not work out how to do everything offline without it calling, because in order to get the hash of a version, you have to call to the server. So you've got to do a little extra saving work in order to deal with OCI registries. And I haven't worked through that yet. So I just started with the chart repository part.
Perfect.
Do you happen to
The
know
other thing
offhand
which...
what it?
Oh, you go.
What it? I was just wondering if Matt knew offhand what it digests. What
Wait,
the digest?
digest?
Yeah.
I mean, it's called digest and it's just SHA-256 of the chart content.
Yeah.
So
my
it digests
question
everything chart
was,
content.
I would like to cache plugins as well at some point.
Well, we're
Um,
we're in a pretty good spot for it already. Based on the we can take a look at what. Yeah, exactly.
So it would be awkward if you call it chat cache, for example. And then we stick plugins in there. Not that it wouldn't work, but it would just be an awkward name.
Yes. Okay. I'll think about that. If it's a content-based cache, maybe I call it content cache, that kind of thing. Right now, the cache does use the same key for provenance files, just so you can tell which provenance file is associated with which chart, and it gets appended. But the dot whatever prov just tells you what the file is to help signify it as a human poking through these things. The system doesn't actually care. So
Matt,
it could be a dot plugin or something else is what you could put in there for the content-based cache, and we could call it a content cache.
we're also using. I reworked the slightly, but the provenance package and some of the other packages to not be chart specific. So we're actually using a provenance file for plugins now in these PRs as well. So it might just all work out just the way it needs to.
Okay. The thing about the provenance files to think about is we kept talking about moving away, but we never did in this version of Helm, moving over to, and this will be one of the weird things. I mean, we're still using PGP signing and nobody did the rework of that for this version of Helm.
Right.
And so how do we do? I mean, it's one of the things I had hoped to get done, but I didn't get to. And maybe that's a Helm version 5 kind of thing that we want to still do in the next couple of years. But also when you look at some of the other stuff that's coming out there, like cosign, it's lost a lot of momentum. So where is signing really going? I don't know. How big is cosign's still big. So is PGP. So I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. But I can work on reworking it to content cache rather than charts cache, and signify instead of it being charts based, maybe a key base to tell you what that thing is to signify it. I can rework that in what I'm doing now and have that up tomorrow. That's easy.
Awesome.
Cool. I'll send you the link for that piece of that with that plugin, that particular plugin PR, just for
Okay.
reference.
Yeah.
And what I was
Okay.
thinking just at a high level was, initially that any additional signing mechanisms we add could be optional. You know what I mean? And we
Totally. But will we get it in the next 9 days? Okay, that's all I want to do is bring this up, and I can incorporate those little changes into it. It'll probably be ready for review tomorrow, and you all can see what it is. with hopefully a lot of tests.
I just asked the digest question, Matt, because I was wondering if it was based off of the Git tree digest.
No, we don't do, because you don't assume Git. For a lot of the chart
Okay.
stuff, you cannot assume Git. People will create a
Fair.
chart outside of it, do some other system. You don't always know how these things are done and handled. I mean, it could be a build artifact. You could have it in a Git repository, and then somebody, runs sed or some other bash script over it to generate the final, build it, and then
Right.
push it up somewhere. And in that case, it's never checked in. So you can't assume Git. So
Is
here
it
we
a-
just look at the actual content of the chart itself as an archive.
Okay.
In the interest of
As
time,
an archive. Yep.
Matt, feature freeze.
Yeah. So the other thing is end of August is feature freeze. And so this works out really interesting because we actually have through like the end of next week. And what I was thinking is we try to cut the thing on September 2nd. I'm not saying September 1st because September 1st is a US holiday and everyone's going to be out, including myself. But I'm going to say September 2nd is the day that we cut the tag and feature freeze goes into place. That's stretching our August timeline and letting us have all of August, then come out of the US holiday and cut it the next day. Sound good?
Sounds great.
good. Sounds busy, but
George,
What?
that's his
on the
APR.
subject of features, I have server-side apply changes, so the Helm, CLI, and SDK will use server-side apply. And also I'd like to call out, so PR to review, sizable, but mostly just fluff around options and returning false to say server-side apply for a method, which is like 15 lines of code and it's all the same. So hopefully fairly easy to review. I would also like to call out, I created some very rudimentary end-to-end tests, which do Helm 3, Helm 4, upgrade, downgrade of charts, and I just wrote them as crappy shell scripts to get something started. But once we do get a little further with features being feature freeze happening, I would like to probably extend this concept to be more of a formal end-to-end and Helm 3, Helm 4 integration test at some point if anybody has any ideas on how to do that, which isn't crappy shell scripts.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Assignments. Since I'll show. I mean, there's nothing in there, but anybody have shout outs or social media application? Okay. Assignments. Moderator.
I do it.
I cannot. I will not be here next week.
No.
I will not be here either.
Same here, unfortunately.
I can do notes.
You're on the
I
Papa
will do
George
PR
tour.
reviews. I want to make sure we can get as much in as we can. So when I've got free time, I will be doing PR reviews as much as possible.
Same.
We asked that of all the
same.
or all the maintainers. If you got free time, this is the last go.
Is there a list of PRs to review? I mean, I'm sure. I'm just wondering, since I haven't done PR reviews, where would I start if I wanted to?
I would say the
Or-
PR, the PR link. I don't know if we want to create a tag. I mean, is it prioritize us looking at it? Scott, do you think, or team, do you guys think we should put a tag on it so everyone knows like
Well,
these are higher priority?
We have this. We have the V4 milestone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just thinking I should make sure my my PRs are tagged with V4 because
Yeah, well, so this isn't the tag. This is the this is added to the milestone. It's probably not super representative of all the things that want to be in there. I just saw there were a few in, so I put things that should have been in there too. So it's not comprehensive.
So if
The-
you've got something you want for, make sure it's in the milestone.
Yeah, that probably would be good, wouldn't you say, Matt? I know here's the tag, but the tag doesn't necessarily mean these are things that are high priority. It just means that they're things that are labeled only for version 4, which may or may not even be
Yeah,
worked on.
things got tagged a year
Yeah.
and a half ago. So
try and put them in a milestone if it's one we're really, really going for.
Yeah.
That would be a good, easy place. And so all these ones we're working on and scrambling with, throw them in the milestone.
Awesome. And
We have people for issue triage.
I know it's been neglected a little bit for a while, but I haven't had time.
Probably going to focus on PRs this week.
yeah,
Okay.
Same here.
That's fair.
and I'll be here next week. Kind of looks like George and Robert will be here next week.
Yep, we'll be here. We'll hold the fort down.
I'll be flying to KCD Columbia on that day, so I'll be waving to you all,
It sounds like fun.
working on my laptop in spirit with you. Yeah.
I think you'll be enjoying Colombia. No.
Maybe, if possible.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.
Awesome. Thank you.